This is the Recycling, Scrap Metal, Commodities, and Economic Report, September 16th, 2024. U.S. weekly raw steel production rose to 1.78 million tons, up 4.8% from last year, but down 1.8% year to date. This was on slow, continued growth in the manufacturing area of the U.S. WTI crude oil price rose to $68.65 a barrel as the Gulf of Mexico storm had rigs shut down. Also, Chinese demand is down versus last year, as August EV Chinese sales surged to 54% of sales in August versus just 8.1% of sales in the United States. The U.S. weekly crude oil production was steady at 13.3 million barrels per day, just off the recent record high in American history. The surging EV sales in China we just talked about, and good U.S. EV and hybrid sales are lowering oil demand and prices. The U.S. weekly oil rig count rose slightly to 485 on great productivity per well, and the low demand is bringing cautious production increases. Scrap steel number one HMS price remained steady in September on a good balance of supply and demand. Hot rolled coil steel price rose slightly to $34.88 a hundredweight, which is $6.98 a ton, on the slow manufacturing in the U.S. that we just talked about. Copper price rose to $4.22 a pound on improving Chinese demand, also on hopes the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut interest rates 0.5%, which would really help growth. Aluminum price also rose, and it rose to $1.12 a pound, which is $24.71 a metric ton, on hopes of positive global demand. China August industrial production rose 4.5%, which is good, but slowing from 5.1% in July. Railway, shipbuilding, and aviation grew the most. U of M September consumer sentiment rose to 69, the highest since May. Year-ahead expectations of personal finances improved, inflation expectations fell, and expectations on the economy improved. U.S. August inflation fell to 2.5% versus last year, the lowest in over 3.5 years. Prices are still high though. Yet, let's also point out that some say 2022's 9.1% inflation was the worst in American history. See 1980 at 14.4%, 1974 at 12.3%, and 1947 at 19.7%. U.S. August producer prices, which is manufacturers' prices, they rose by just 1.7% versus last year, the lowest in 6 months. This was below the 3.07% average between 1950 and 2024. The slowing economy is bringing lower inflation. The U.S. 10-year note, the bond yield, mortgage rates and other bank rates are tied to this 10-year bond. It fell to 3.65, the lowest since May 2023. It fell with the expectation of interest rate cuts this week by the Federal Reserve. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 1,049 points to 41,394, near the all-time record high. Expectations of the interest rate cut we just talked about helps the economy. Record numbers of people working is also spurring economic growth. Roll-off trailers for sale by Ben Lee, from the tandem axle Super Mini to our 8-axle Michigan roll-off trailers. All have the exact same rollers, shivs, control valve, cable, hoses, etc. All are heavy duty. Call Ben Lee for a quote at 734-722-8100. This report by Greg Brown is brought to you by Ben Lee Roll-Off Trailers, Gondola Trailers, Crush Cart Trailers, Lugger Trucks, Roll-Off Trailer Parts, and of course, Roll-Off Truck Parts for Galbraith, Galfab, American Dragon, G&H, and more. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions. I hope all have a safe and profitable week.